The silence of the rain. The fine rain fell slowly that autumn night. Praca dos Pinheiros in the city center was almost deserted, except for the motionless body of a man stretched out on the wooden bench. Detective Miguel Vasconcellos arrived at the scene shortly after midnight. The victim, an influential businessman named Roberto Almeida, appeared to have died from a point-blank shot. However, there was no blood, weapon, or witnesses. When investigating the surroundings, Miguel found a sodden note next to the bench. Silence always reveals the truth. With no fingerprints and no signs of struggle, the case took on a mystery. In the victim's office, they discovered that Roberto was investigating a corruption network linked to politicians and businessmen. At the police station, the detective's phone rang. "Detective Vasconcellos, don't look to the past for answers. Silence is the only protection." The call was traced to a payphone near the scene of the crime. Miguel was now sure that he was dealing with someone who knew his every step. The square's security cameras showed a hooded figure leaving the area shortly before the death. The investigation led Miguel to Roberto's former business partner, Claudio Mendonça, who denied any involvement. However, in Claudio's office, the detective found a note identical to the one from the crime scene. After days of pursuit, Miguel cornered Claudio in an abandoned warehouse. The man confessed to having forged documents to protect the criminal network, but swore not to have killed Roberto. The distorted voice then echoed throughout the warehouse. "You've come too far, detective." Miguel quickly turned and saw a shadow with a gun. It was Helena, Roberto's secretary, who revealed herself to be the true mind behind the conspiracy. She had used Roberto to obtain information and then eliminated him to protect the scheme. Miguel managed to disarm Helena and hand her over to the police. The criminal network was dismantled, but the detective never again ignored the power of silence and the hidden truths behind unspoken words. As the rain fell again, Miguel looked at the empty square and remembered the note. "Silence always reveals the truth." He knew now that silence was not just the absence of sound, but the echo of secrets waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Months later, Miguel received an anonymous envelope. Inside, a photo of him in the square that rainy night and a note, "Silence still watches." The detective felt a chill run down his spine. The game was not over. He knew the net was deeper and the hunt was just beginning. Grabbing his badge and gun, Miguel went out to face the unknown, once again under the incessant rain that seemed to whisper ancient secrets through the dark streets of the city. Miguel began to investigate the origin of the photo. The analysis revealed printing residue from an old printing plant located in a remote neighborhood. At the scene, he found a computer turned on with a single message on the screen: "You know what we are looking for. The silence will be eternal." Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind him. Miguel turned around and saw a hooded figure. Before he could react, he was hit in the head and passed out. When he woke up, he was tied to a chair in a damp basement. In front of him, a woman with cold and determined eyes. "Detective, don't you understand? Silence protects us all. Stop now or the price will be high." "Or you?" asked Miguel. "Call me Shadow. If you insist, the whole city will pay." With effort, Miguel managed to free himself and clashed with the woman. During the fight, she dropped a pendant with the inscription "Order of Silence." She fled, but the detective now had a new lead. The hunt had resumed, and the silence would reveal more secrets than he had ever imagined. Miguel followed the clue to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the city. There, he found files and records compromising powerful figures. The shadow reappeared, this time accompanied by armed men. "You should never have come here, detective." "The silence is over," Miguel replied, activating the hidden recorder that transmitted everything live to the police station. The police arrived in time to arrest Sombra and his accomplices. Miguel watched as she was handcuffed, and the veil of mystery finally lifted. The detective left the mansion, exhausted but satisfied. The rain started again, washing away the last traces of fear. He lit a cigarette, looked up at the sky and murmured. Silence finally spoke.